So for the topic, Module 14, which is the accident investigation. The accident investigation. So for this lesson, we will aim to introduce you to the basic principles of accident investigation as a tool in preventing the recurrence of accidents. So we know even if we prevent and minimize the possible accidents, we cannot deny the fact that there is always a chance that accidents might really happen. So as an OSH officer, you must have the knowledge and fully understand the basic approaches in accident investigation. Investigation of accidents is an important element of safety and health program that we should establish and implement. Analysis of these accidents through accidents investigation will definitely identify causes and eventually lead prevention of its occurrence or future accidents. So as a matter of safety and health policy, all accidents must be reported and investigated as soon as possible. So accident investigation is one of the most important responsibility of the OSH officer. Next, accident investigation. So there are causes of accidents could actually divide into two categories, which is the unsafe condition and the unsafe acts. So for the unsafe acts are anything related to employee activities. For example, the horseplay, disregarding safety rules, and failing to wear PPE, lifting improperly, and etc. So for the unsafe condition, it is anything that cause the environment. Any cause of accidents related to the physical environments is considered an unsafe condition. For example, are the slippery floors caused by leaking drum of oil, faulty electrical installation, unguarded moving parts of the machine, poorly lighted working environment, and many more. So, to understand the basic principle of accident prevention, so the basic concern on occupational safety and health is on the safety of the workers against accident and injury and health of a person against illnesses and diseases. So in order for workers to be safe, we have to prevent or minimize direct contact. So on the other hand, in order to be healthy in the workplace, we have to prevent or minimize their exposure to environmental hazards.
What is accident investigation, and why perform accident investigation? What is it? A methodological effort to collect and interpret the facts of accident, and an inquiry as to how and why the accident occurred in order to explore action that should be taken to prevent or minimize occurrences of accident. The types of accident: fatal, injury, disease, dangerous occurrence, or near miss. The fatal. The Occupational Safety and Health Standard being implemented by DOLE required that accident resulting in death should be reported to DOLE Regional Office within 24 hours after occurrence using the fastest available means of communication, and with 48 hours upon the receipt of the initial report be investigated. Injury. An injury that causes minor or first aid treatment to serious to permanently, totally incapacitate workers should be reported. Disease. All work-related disease or illness due to exposure to unsafe working environment should also be reported. Dangerous occurrences. Any dangerous occurrence which may or may not cause serious bodily harm to workers or serious damage to the premises of employee should be investigated and reported by the employee of DOLE Regional Office. This include fire, explosion, boiler, and pressure vessel, collapse in equipment or structures. The last one, near miss. Near miss is an accident where an injury or property damage has occurred, but where a slight difference in position or timing could mean the occurrence of damage or injury. Suppose an accident occurs in your facility and how you are one was to investigate it. what you do. Keep it in mind that all accidents should be investigated as soon as possible. Thorough investigation needs to be conducted so the future occurrences can be prevented. Why do perform accident investigation? The purpose of accident investigation is to establish all facts, to draw conclusions, to make recommendations, and the last one is to prevent occurrences.
Accident investigation. Basic steps in accident investigation, and what or who are your sources of information. What are the 4 basic steps in the accident investigation process? First, control the scene. Second, gather information. Third, analyze data. And last is write report. Control the scene. An incident investigator's first priority should be to ensure that the incident site is safe and secure. After securing the scene, you can start the next step, which is gather information. Get a brief overview of the situation from witnesses and employees directly involved in the incident. Once obtaining valuable information from a reliable sources, analyzing the data is what comes next. Analyze data. How do you analyze and investigate an accident? Investigate the event, then record and analyze the result, and then review the process. Lastly is the write report. After facts-finding effort during the process of gathering information and analyzing to determine the cause, last step that you need is to file or write a report of the accident. The first step in any accident investigation is for you to manage the accident scene through the following: treat the injured, control the remaining hazard, isolate the site to protect people, preserve the evidence. Treat the injured. Investigators should be very sure that steps have been taken to ensure prompt and effective rescue of an injured. Planning should address the provision for quick first aid treatment for the victims. Control the remaining hazards. Immediate or temporary action should be taken to control the risk of any further injury or damage. There should be an established procedure for the stoppage of any additional work to prevent possible occurrence of another or similar accident. Protect people. The accident may have damaged electrical equipment, weakened structural supports, or may have released radioactive or toxic materials. Isolating or barricading the accident scene must be particularly implemented to prevent the entry of workers. Preserve the evidence. Immediate action should be made for the protection of evidence. Physical evidences are so important for the success of every accident investigation. What or who are your sources of information? Sources of information: time and location, environment, physical evidence, witnesses, and existing records. Time and location. This is the time of the day and place where the accident happened. More or less, you can get an idea of possible causes of the incident if you know whether it happened in the morning, afternoon, or evening. Likewise, you can also identify causes if you have the idea of where the accident happened. Environment. The evaluation of the environment will provide information regarding the cause of accident. Identify the environmental factors that might influence the accident, such as weather condition, illumination, temperature, noise, or ventilation. Physical evidence. As the investigator, you should exercise extreme care in handling, collecting, retrieving, or otherwise identifying physical evidence. Witnesses. A witness can be defined simply as any person who has information relating to the accident. This includes anyone from those persons principally involved in the accident to those who have seen or heard about the accident, or observed the work environment at that time the accident occurred. Existing records. This could be the following: employees' records, equipment records, job or task records, previous accident investigation records. Existing records number 1. Employee's record. Information regarding the victim's age and gender, the department and occupation in which he or she worked, work status, experience and employee's training should be reflected in the employee's records. Existing record number 2. Equipment records. The characteristic of the equipment associated with the accident include the type, brand, size, and any distinguishing features of the equipment, its condition, and the specific hazardous parts that may cause accident. Existing record number 3. Job or task records. The characteristic of task being performed by the employee include his or her general task, the tools or equipment or machine he or she is operating. Existing records number 4. Previous accident investigation record. An accident investigation report form is used to help investigators gather, at a minimum, the basic information that should be recorded about each accident.
So now, what is the method of interviewing of witnesses? Since the validity of a witness statements is greatest when obtained as soon as possible after the accident, it is critical that witness interviews begin as soon as possible. If not done correctly, interviewing the witness can be a daunting task. So to obtain the necessary facts during an interview, the interviewer must first eliminate or reduce an employee's fear and anxiety by establishing good rapport with the individual. You must create a feeling of trust and establish open communication before beginning the actual interview. Once good rapport has been developed, the interviewer can follow this method. So the method, which is the interview process, is to get a written statement, reassure the witness, let the witness tell the story, begin with open-ended question, don't ask a leading question, summarize, ask for recommendation, and close on a positive note. Now on analyzing the accident, we must find the cause. In accident investigation, it is widely accepted that a number of variables or triggers must come together in precisely to the right circumstances that cause an accident. Accident causes have led management to the conclusion that incidents are triggered and not a random events, and that causes can be identified and regulated. So the four elements that interact together for successful business, we have these operations: the people, equipment, materials, and environment. However, when something unplanned or undesired occurs within any of these elements, usually some adverse effects might happen. People, obviously, the people of any successful organization are its greatest resources, influencing factors that can affect human behavior and performance must be examined and evaluated for cause. Then the equipment. Equipment includes the tools and machines employees must work within order to accomplish their assigned works. In more recent years, the improper design of controls and displays on complex power machines and equipment has been cited frequently as the primary source or cause of accident. Now the materials people use, work with, or make provide another major source of accident causes. So when one considers that people often use equipment to process materials in daily operation, the complexity of accident source relationship becomes even more evident. Then we have the environment. Environment is the physical surrounding in which work must be performed, and so on. The work environment represents the source of causes of an ever-increasing number of disease and health-related conditions. So these four elements of business operation, which is the people, equipment, material, and environment, either individual or in combination, produce the source of causes that contribute to the accident.
An accident investigation report answer. All information gathered during the course of investigation should be properly reported and formally recorded in an accident investigation report. The report should answer the 5W and 1H in reporting of accident. The 5W and 1H in the reporting of accidents are who was injured, what happened, where did the accident occur, when did the accident occur, why did the accident occur, how can similar accident can be prevented. Next is the recommending and monitoring corrective actions. After all probable causes of accident have been established, your next step is to make a recommendation and corrective actions for changes that will prevent a similar accident in the future. There are several specific changes that you can recommend that will involve any or a combination of the ease of safety, such as the following: engineering control, education, and enforcement. In engineering control, engineering changes will probably be needed to improve working conditions. Perhaps the company will need to make some processes changes in the workplace to prevent another accident. In education, after engineering control measures are put in place, training of all the workers of the organization is needed. Basically, educating the employees on how to work safely, reducing injuries, and keeping works compensation down should be the company's concern. It is practical move for the company to follow the plan of the safety training. Last is enforcement. After all control measures have been exhausted and in place, and training have been conducted to educate the employees, accident might still happen. Maybe in this case, there is a need of a comprehensive implementation of the enforcement program to make sure that the workers will follow the basic rules and regulations on safety and health. The government tasked extra efforts in the enforcement of the OSH standards by the DOLE inspectors.